Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Hayes Crew Outside. I'm Hayes Crew. Basically, today we're out at the Cavalier Wildlife Management Area, and I'm doing a little preseason scouting. It's early March, pretty chilly, about 40-45 degrees, but absolutely beautiful. And before long, I'm going to be sweating bullets, so it's good that it's cool. But I wanted to go over some of the gear I use for scouting, kind of important, especially if you really want to look for a big deer, you're serious about it. You want to scout as much as possible to find out the best areas to go. And this time of year is perfect. It's a long time before deer season comes. Deer season's in October, but all the leaves are off the trees. Anything that's annual has lost its leaves, it's died down, and you can see all channels. And really, the spots that are the thickest and darkest now will be the thickest and darkest in October. And when pressure gets on out here, and there's a ton of public access pressure, you want to go to the darkest, thickest, hardest spots to go, because that's where the big animals go to. That's what I'm looking for. In addition to that, because of the cold, less mosquitoes, less snakes. I always find snakes. I don't know what it is. Cottonmouths. There's actually diamondback rattlesnakes. It's an endangered species, but right on the border of Virginia and Carolina, there tends to be a ton of them out here, and I'll usually run into one or two in October when I'm doing a little bit more hunting, a little bit more scouting. But let's get to it. One of the things I do use the Off Deep Woods brand, and I used to use Neutrogena Wet Skin for sunscreen. Even though I'm mostly covered up, a lot of face, right there. I want to keep the sun off my skin, because over time, obviously, cancer can be an issue, runs in the family, so I want to be careful. But I always keep that stuff in the bottom of my pack. If I drop my pack, and sometimes there's a lot of water out here, it's Dismal Swamp, the stuff that can get wet, I put in the bottom. Stuff that needs to be up top goes up top. So one of the things I like to use also, especially during the summertime, little face mask. What I like about that, it makes it harder for the mosquitoes and ticks to get to you, and I can spray the DEET mosquito spray on that instead of on my skin. I don't like a lot of chemicals touching skin. If you've ever had DEET on you, sometimes it numbs you up. Just not something I'm really comfortable with. But I won't be needing that today. One of the other things I like to use, Corona. It's a great little leather pack. Clippers. Out here, there's a ton of briars, things of that nature, and you get turned up and turned around, it starts to really get you crazy. I just clip them, keep them right on the hip. We're good to go. I also like to bring my orange tape. Never know when you're going to need it. Mark a spot. Sometimes, again, your GPS stuff like that isn't working, and I'm not going to walk back another 2 miles bringing my camera, so I'll mark it with that so I can find it. Just remember, whatever you mark with tape, anyone else can find. A couple other things. Headlamps. Don't plan on being out here in the dark, but sometimes things happen. So I bring 2 of them, got extra batteries in there, and if it gets dark, I can see where the hell I'm going. During the summertime, especially when this stuff is thick, a lot of times you can't see where the sun's at, you can't see the moon's at, because it's covered. So I need to have some light, something to help get me out of here. Otherwise, I just look up and find my northwest. Obviously gloves, very, very important. One of those things you don't want to go cheap on. I like the mechanics gloves. You can go online, measure your hand. You actually get gloves that fit your hand size. I like the Velcro. I like to have a seal on my body, so I'll use like Under Armour and have that as my base layer to help stop the ticks, chiggers, things like that from getting to you. This helps create the seal as well. Not to mention keeping briar, stuff like that off you. Now, as far as my camera, I'm always using my game cams. Obviously, I've got chains on it, stuff like that, to help stop people from stealing it. I like to use the multi-tree, or this one's a stealth cam too. This one's about 150 bucks. Price point for me seems to be about right. You can buy one that's 500. You can buy one that's 50. But I find the ones that work the best, that most bang for your buck, $150. I like to use the 12-volt battery. You can buy the case anywhere, buy the battery anywhere. It's a little small boat battery. It will last you about a month powering your camera. For the money, it's the best deal out there. You can set it and go, come back in a month and have all kinds of pictures. Nothing's worse than getting out there and finding no power. Your smaller batteries or the big 12 big batteries just didn't last, and they're $20 a pop, whereas the battery here is about 50. Lasts you for years. So long as you don't mess it up and keep it dry, it'll last forever. And the nice thing is, if you're trying to get back in shape, as I am, after 2 months of watching football, I packed on a couple pounds. So backpacking in there helps to lose a couple pounds as well. One of the must-haves, compass. No matter where you're at, compass not going to lose power unless there's a problem with the North Pole, and if that happens, we got bigger fish to fry. Take it with you. Take 2. It's lightweight. It's got a little magnifying glass if you need to start a fire. Again, not planning on getting lost, but you never know. Compass is always something you gotta have. Now, I do like my GPS. This is a Garmin Rhino. Little pricey. It runs about $500, but it's got so many features on it. Some of that stuff you can download to a phone. I always bring a phone with me as well, but this thing you can log up to a computer, download all your waypoints. You can find good tree stands. I can mark stuff here and say, okay, I want to come back later date. It's right on it. Again, I wouldn't go anywhere without it. Plus, if you're going to put up a game cam, you can mark your spot where the game cam is and walk out without any signs that you were there. Helps reduce how many times someone steals your stuff. Usually when I lose a game cam, it's right up here in the front section where all the hunters kind of congregate. Further back, 2 miles in, a lot less hunters, a lot less chance of someone out there finding it. Personal opinion, hunters I find back 2 miles in, a little bit more serious hunters, I don't think they steal as much. I think the lazier hunters are the hunters that just go in this initial section. I think those are the ones that do most of the stealing. So, kind of sensitive issue for me. I've lost 3 cameras at $200 a pop overall between the $50 battery. Shame on you. Shouldn't be stealing other people's stuff, especially fellow hunters. So I've got the GPS in there. Obviously want to secure everything. A couple other things. Rope. Never know what you're going to need rope for, but you should have it. Never go anywhere without rope. Okay, one of my other favorite tools is the K-bar. Some people have different machetes, different this, different that. What I like about the K-bar, it's nice and heavy. Sometimes the machetes are more lightweight. They lose their blade easily. Fits nice in the hand. And if you're whacking through stuff, this just goes right to it. Don't leave home without it. I probably won't bring it today just because it's extra weight. I don't need to weigh myself down too much. And I don't plan on doing a bunch of hacking out here. So 2 other things that are very important: water. I always leave with not enough water. I'm in a hurry, don't think I need it, and I get out there and almost without fail, I didn't bring enough water. Now today it's cooler, but I'm still going to be sweating. Summertime, it gets to be 100 degrees out here, and I'm running around with multiple layers of clothing to avoid mosquitoes, ticks, stuff like that. But just start sweating, and you get turned around, you're out there longer than you think. You can always drink the water. The more time you're in the woods, the lighter and lighter the water gets. Batteries, all this other stuff, it weighs the same no matter what. You can drop the battery, stuff like that, but the water, you gotta have it. So bring more water than you think you need. And of course, the other thing you always want to bring is TP. Always bring TP. You never know. It's great for starting a fire, great for a few other things as well. It's biodegradable. I know a lot of people worry about leaving TP in the woods. It goes away very, very quickly. So always bring TP. But that's just about it for what I'm going to use today, what I use most of the year. Again, I'm down here at the Cavalier Wildlife Management Area. Beautiful area to just to hike and do things of that nature. So I'm going to go out and see what I can find today. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you taking your time. And if you're brand new, please like and subscribe. For my subscribers, again, really appreciate you. I hope life is treating you well. Let's get after it.